Hello everyone. Welcome to the final week of this course on recruitment and selection. We are now in week number 10 and we will be talking about interviewing techniques. Okay? This is very important. As an HR professional, you should be able to conduct interviews well because you will be dealing with that kind of task regularly. So, but in the meantime, let us first try to do some important reminders to everyone. Make sure that you watch the 5 video lectures this week. So this is video number 1. Well, to make sure that you get the updated videos, why don't you subscribe to my YouTube channel and then you hit the notification button so you keep updated every time there is a new video being shared or being posted or uploaded. Now, at the end of each video lecture, there is always a question or 2 questions being asked. You must answer those questions because that will constitute your recitation grade for this week. Remember, this is the final week, so this is your last hurrah. Mamimiss ko kayo. Okay? So, importante na pagbutihin nyo itong final week na to. In fact, the scores will be doubled. So, there will be 2 quizzes for this week and there will be 2 tasks for this week. Okay? I will announce that later on in video number 5. Okay? So, let's carry on with our lecture for video lecture number 1 for week number 10. The personality of the interviewer is very important. So, what makes a good interviewer? A good interviewer possesses a set of traits and values that make him or her effective when conducting this very important HR task. It takes a lot of experience and good exposure to develop these traits and values. Well, hindi po ke HR graduate ka or HR management graduate ka, automatic you are already a good interviewer. You know, sometimes it will take many years of experience bago masabi na ikaw ay tunay na mahusay sa pag-i-interview. Kasi yung mga veterans talagang mahusay at they're very experienced when it comes to interviewing applicants. Isang tanong lang nila sa aplikante, alam na nila yung pagkatao, yung personality. And they can read non-verbal clues, no? For example, yung kanilang mga mannerisms, yung kanilang mga expressions, body language, they all have meaning. Okay? So, a seasoned interviewer can spot those. Seasoned or veteran interviewers learn from their past mistakes. Yes, dati nagkakamali sila. Yung tinatawag natin na hiring mistake, na kapag hire sila ng maling empleyado, nagkalat sa trabaho. So, importante pala na when we interview, we do the interview extensively. The kind of question should really reveal who the applicant is. Kailangan mapalabas natin yung pagkatao ng aplikante. Sa interview kasi nakakakita tayo ng mga red flags. Pag sinabing red flags, ito yung mga behavior, mga utterances o pananalita na nakakaalarma, na baka merong pahiwatig na hindi maganda, na baka makaapekto sa kanyang trabaho. Okay? O mga ugali na pilit na itinatago. Remember, an interview is an opportunity for an applicant to showcase his best behavior. So maaring hindi niya pinapakita yung kanyang tunay na ugali o yung tunay niyang kakayahan o yung tunay niyang pagkatao. So there is like a wall. Okay? May maskara. So a good interviewer should be able to unmask the applicant para lumabas yung totoong siya. Okay? Now, ano ba ang traits and values of an effective interviewer? Aba, yung mga effective interviewers, meron sila nito mga katangian na to. Ito yung mga asal, mga pag-uugali na importante sa isang mahusay na interviewer. Courtesy. Yes, kailangan magalang tayo. Hindi po kay aplikante yung mga nasa harapan natin na pwede tayo magsalita ng masasakit o babastusin natin sila o hindi natin sila bibigyan ng kaukulang respeto. Courtesy or respect is very important. Honesty, pagiging matapat, also called integrity or trustworthy. Pag tayo'y mapagkakatiwalaan, tayo ay nagiging tapat o nagsasabi lagi ng totoo sa mga aplikante, abay tayo'y pagkakatiwalaan. Kung tayo na HR officer ay mapagkakatiwalaan, then they can trust the company. Matinong kumpanya ang kanilang ina-applyan. Kung tayo nagsisinungaling, tayo ay nambobola sa mga aplikante, that's a red flag for them. Sasabihin lang ako, yung interviewer ko, nambobola lang. Parang hindi yata matino yung company na yan. Okay, so you see, your lack of integrity, your dishonesty will boomerang. Okay, so yan ay magre-reflect sa inyong company. So importante, a good interviewer is honest. So pag may kasi there is a portion sa interview na the applicant is given the opportunity to ask questions to the interviewer. Okay? So you have to tell the truth. You have to be honest. Second, sensitivity. You know, ang mga aplikante may mga feelings yan. Mga tao yan eh. So may damdamin. Hindi tayo dapat nakakasakit. So maging sensitibo tayo sa ating mga pangungusap o sa ating pagtatanong. Kung tayo ay magko-comment sa kanilang mga sagot, maingat din tayo dapat. Iko-consideran natin ang kanilang nararamdaman. Kasi yung mga they're also human beings who probably could get hurt. Okay? So be careful. Diligence sa Tagalog, kasipagan. Ang mga interviewers masipag. So they prepare well for their task. So talagang kuminsan nag-overtime pa sila sa dami ng aplikante. Okay? Alam ko sa mga recruitment or placement agencies, tambak ang nag-a-apply. Kaya kuminsan may mga HR personnel doon na inaabot hanggang alas 9, alas 10 sa pag-i-interview sa dami ng aplikante just to accommodate them. So kailangan magpapakita ka ng kasipagan kasi alangan naman pabalikin mo pa sila. Especially now with the pandemic, it's gonna be very difficult for the applicants to be traveling or commuting. Objectivity. Sa Tagalog, objectivity, pagiging fair, pagiging patas, okay? So, dapat hindi ka biased, okay? So, yung magandang behavior, yung magandang sagot, bigyan mo ng mataas na score. Yung pangit na sagot, yung hindi magandang response, huwag mong bibigyan ng mataas na score, okay? So, you actually give an assessment of the applicant in a fair manner, okay? Perseverance, pagiging pasensyoso, also patience, no? So, ang isang mahusay na interviewer ay matyaga. Okay? Kasi marami siya makakasalamuhan na iba't ibang klaseng personalities. Some of these personalities are not desirable or not pleasant. So, you have to be very, very patient also. Okay? You should not blow your top or, magpakita ng hindi magandang asal. Being more tolerant is okay. It's a good trait. Cheerfulness o pagiging masayahin. Ang isang interviewer na mahusay ay laging nakangiti at siya ay maaliwalas ang mukha. Okay? Hindi siya masungit, hindi siya nakasimangot, hindi siya problematic tignan. Okay? Dapat maaliwalas ang aura. Okay? Proactiveness. Dapat na-anticipate ng isang interviewer yung mga pwedeng maging problema. Okay? Kapag ikaw ay nag-i-interview, pwedeng may problema. Okay? Yung aplikante or yung prosesong ginagawa mo. So you should be able to anticipate problems and offer solutions to those problems. Then, grit. Ang grit, determination yan eh. So kahit na anong negative ang mangyari, you will pursue your goals for the day. Okay? That is grit. Being determined, being ambitious. Okay? Punctuality. Pagiging maagap. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng nauuna pang dumating sa opisina ang interviewee. Dapat nauuna lagi ang interviewer. So, you have time to prepare. Okay? And you are there to welcome the first batch of interviewees. Assuming na wala na tayong pandemic. Pero ngayon, because the interviews are usually online, you should always be there. Hindi yung, ang schedule ng online interview ay 9 o'clock, 9:20 na, hindi ka pa nag-online. Nag-aantay yung mga aplikante. That's not good. That's not punctuality. Okay? So punctuality also means managing the time. So pag sinabi mo na 10 minutes lang yung interview, wag mo namang gawing 30 minutes kasi pinangako mo 10 minutes lang. So you can ask maybe 5 to 8 questions in 10 minutes. Okay? Tact or tactfulness. Okay? Anong opposite nun? Pagiging taklesa. So being tactful meaning you are watchful of your tongue. Okay? So lahat ng lumalabas sa bibig mo ay akma o karapat-dapat. Hindi ka nagsasalita ng mga bagay na taklesa. Okay? No, ikaw ay walang pakialam sa ibang tao. Okay? So you have to be tactful. Okay? When communicating. And then finally, emotional maturity. Well, of course, we know that HR personnel or HR officers who are acting as interviewers, they can be very, very patient, but sometimes they get emotional when something wrong happens, or they get mad, or they get disappointed. Yes, because they are human beings. But an effective interviewer must know how to hide his emotions. He's not supposed to display those emotions in front of applicants because he is the mirror of the company. He represents the company in front of applicants. So the best professional behavior should always be displayed or demonstrated. And that includes being emotionally mature. Hindi ka dapat isip bata o asal bata. Okay? Now, let's talk about the skills of a good and effective interviewer. Ito naman yung mga kakayahan or competencies. Number 1, active listening. Dapat mahusay tayong makinig. Pinapakinggan natin yung mga responses, yung mga sagot sa ating tanong ng mga aplikante. Kasi dun tayo magbe-base ng ating scoring. Kung malaman ba yung sagot niya, o baka nagsisinungaling siya. We should be able to spot that readily kung nagsisinungaling ang isang aplikante. So being an active listener. So kapag nagtanong tayo at yung aplikante sumagot, pwede rin tayo magbigay ng follow-up questions. Kasi yung sagot niya parang kulang o parang nabitin tayo o parang meron pa tayong gustong malaman. That's why if you are an active listener, you can create instantly follow-up questions. And that is a very clever and intelligent gesture or technique. Follow-up questions are very important. Okay? Diyan mo rin mahuhuli kung ang isang aplikante ay nagsisinungaling o hindi through follow-up questions. Kaya maganda nagtatanong tayo ng follow-up questions. The art of questioning. A good interviewer knows how to ask questions. Mamaya pag-uusapan natin ano yung mga hindi pwedeng itanong, ano naman yung mga pwede nating itinatanong sa ating mga aplikante. Critical thinking. Okay? So hindi lahat ng sinasabi ng aplikante paniniwalaan natin. Dapat mag-iisip din tayo in a critical way. Tama ba ang narinig ko? Tama ba ang kanyang sinasabi? May sense ba? Ayan. So you can formulate your scores. Okay? Planning. The whole interview process needs to be planned. Like you plan for the venue, you plan for the expenses. Who are the other interviewers? Are you the only interviewer or there will be others? Is it a panel interview? And then the layout of the room, the interview room. Will there be supplies to be used like interview forms, etc., etc.? The ventilation. Okay, mamaya dilagay mo sa isang kwarto na napakainit pala. Okay? Or medyo may amoy na hindi maganda. Hindi ka aya-aya. So it's not a conducive interview room. So that's part of planning. You have to plan everything. The venue, the interviewers to be invited, the logistics, papakainin mo ba yung mga interviewer mo? Lalo na kung whole day ang interview, you need to feed them. And then the forms to be used, all of that. So you need to plan. Okay? A good interviewer is a good planner also. Decision making. When you're interviewing an applicant, you make decisions. What score will you put? Are you going to hire this applicant? Or are you going to put him on the active file? Or are you going to reject the applicant? Perseverance is another type of skill, no? Kasi yung pagiging matyaga, hindi lang siya ugali eh. Kasi ang isang matyagang tao, siya rin ay nakokontrol niya yung kanyang emotions. Okay? Resourcefulness. So a resourceful interviewer knows how to find ways, no? Madiskarte siya. Research. So, bago ka mag-interview ng aplikante, dapat binabasa mo yung kanilang biodata, nagre-research ka, no? So, ikaw ay merong advanced reading na ginagawa before you even ask questions. Okay? And then, keen observer. So, yung kilos, pananalita, galaw, body language ng isang aplikante, may mga meaning lahat yan eh. Okay? Merong mga ibig sabihin. So you should be keen on those things. Okay? Be a good observer. Writing and documentation. Yes. So there is a form that will be used for the interview. You need to fill that out, but you need to make a report also on the whole process. Like, ilang aplikante ang na-interview mo? Ilan doon ang okay, ilan ang for waitlisting, ilan naman ang to be rejected. And then, irarank mo sila, lahat yung mga okay na aplikante. So, all of that needs documentation. Gagawa ka ng report. So, your report for the day will be a basis for decision making. Time management. Okay? So, time management is very important because you don't have the whole day to interview people. There is a limited time. Okay? So, decision making is also a very important skill because you make a decision, right? And then, at the end of the whole process, job knowledge. Bago ka mag-interview ng isang aplikante, dapat alam mo yung job description at yung job specification ng position kung saan ikaw ay nag-i-interview ng mga aplikante. Halimbawa, ang mga nag-a-apply ay mga plumbers o tubero. Ano ba ang trabaho ng tubero? Ano ba dapat ang kanyang mga qualifications? Dapat nabasa mo muna yon para makita mo kung nagmamatch yung ino-offer ng candidate dun sa hinahanap ng company. Remember, hiring or recruiting is a matching process. And then, organization. You need to organize a lot of stuff. Organize the schedule for the interview. Hindi mo pwedeng sabay-sabay silang darating. No. You have to space it out. Every 15 minutes, may dumarating na isang aplikante. Kasi kung lahat sila papuntahin mo ng 8 o'clock, wow, kawawa naman yung huling mai-interview. Mag-aantay siya ng 3 oras sa lobby. And that's not very good. Okay? So you need to space out the appointments for all the applicants to be interviewed. That's organization skills. Okay? Kung gusto mo, kalahating batch nagte-take ng test, yung kalahati naman ini-interview. After 1 hour, switch sila. Yung nag-take ng test, sila naman ang isasalang next sa interview at yung na-interview na, sila naman ang next na magte-take ng test. Pwedeng ganon. So, you need to organize the day. Okay? And then, tolerance. Okay? So, a good, effective interviewer tolerates many things. Mahaba ang pasensya niya. Okay? Doesn't blow his top. And now, remember, the interviewer controls the job interview. It's not the interviewee who is controlling the whole process. A good interviewer ensures the job interview is as pleasant as possible. So kung minsan medyo nagkakainitan sa interview, medyo nagkakaroon ng mga salita na hindi tama, but the interviewer should put back on track the whole process. Hindi maganda na magkakaroon ng sagutan between the interviewer and the interviewee. It is the task of the interviewer to ensure that the whole process is a pleasant process. Okay? He or she may extend a bit the time if the applicant seems interesting. Halimbawa, sabi mo, okay, you will interview each applicant 8 to 10 minutes. Pero marami ka pang gustong malaman sa isang aplikante. Kasi maaring very interesting siya or mukhang siya na yung gusto mong i-hire, you want to prove that karapat-dapat siya, or gusto mong patunay na parang hindi ka sigurado sa applicant na to kung okay ba siya o hindi. So you want to prolong the interview to know more about the applicant. pwede rin yon. You can do that. Remember, you are in control of the whole interview. The interviewer sets the tone and pace of the interview. So sa umpisa pa lang, pag binati mo na yung aplikante na pumasok sa kwarto, "Good morning, Mr. Santos. You're applying for plumber. Please take your seat." Okay? So, very pleasant dapat yung pagbati natin sa aplikante. You set the tone. It has to be a positive tone. Okay? You create the atmosphere in the whole interview room, no? So, hindi kailangan na sungitan mo ang isang aplikante just because aplikante lang siya at ikaw ay interviewer. Okay? There is that power of an interviewer na sometimes may mga interviewer talaga na arrogante, parang lumalaki ang ulo. Yan. So, hindi dapat ganun ang attitude ng isang interviewer. So, here is an example of an exercise I want you to do. Annie Merillo, the HR officer, was scheduled to interview 8 shortlisted applicants for machine operator in their meat factory. No? Ano ba yung mga meat factories na alam natin? Pampangas Best, favorite ko yan. Okay? Ngayon, machine operator ang hinahanap nila. Tirso de Guia, one of the applicants, was 15 minutes late. Okay, so nangyayari yan, right? Annie screamed at him in front of the other applicants. Sinigawan niya yung aplikanteng si Tirso. "Anong klaseng aplikante ka? Baka pag tinanggap ka namin, lagi kang late." So may salitang gano'n na sinabi si Annie. Okay? Tirso, along with other applicants, felt so embarrassed and scared. Medyo kinabahan sila, natakot, napahiya, kasi nagsisigaw yung HR officer. Nagpakita ng kasungitan. Okay? Here's the question I want you to answer. Okay? What do you think about Annie's behavior as an interviewer? What values and skills does she lack? Okay? So I want you to answer those 2 questions. Make sure you place your answers in the comment section at the bottom of video lecture number 1 for week number 10. Okay? So I will see you momentarily in video lecture number 2 for week 10. See you around.